Good afternoon, everybody. As Stephen said at the beginning of our class, we both, the students and myself, we both have to set up the proper motivation. Our action can be positive or negative. It's only depend on motivation. Therefore, at the beginning, we simply think, this afternoon, I'm going to study entering the middle way in order to realize emptiness. If I realize emptiness, I can be free from ignorance. I can be a Buddha. Then I can benefit any kinds of sentient beings. Studying entering middle way is only for realizing emptiness. Then the chapter 1 through 5, the first chapter very much emphasizes generating bodhicitta based on the generating the three kinds of great compassion. In order to generate compassion, we need to cultivate pure love towards all sentient beings. Now we can see, step by step moving towards realization, realizing emptiness. If we only realize emptiness, we cannot be Buddha. We cannot achieve the fully the enlightened state. Because practicing emptiness, the realizing emptiness is the common practice between the Mahayana practitioner and Hinayan practitioner. Therefore, in the most of the Mahayana teaching, they named Parajana Paramiti teachings, mother, the great mother of Parajana Paramita teaching. So emptiness is the common practice between Mahayana and Hinayana practitioner. In order to be Mahayana practitioner, we need to practice bodhicitta. Bodhicitta with the 6 perfections. Then within the 6 perfections, if we don't possess, if we not able to realize emptiness, then we cannot practice the 6 perfection. We can practice only the 5. Then the 5 perfection, if we only practice the 5 perfection, then you must remember the 5 perfections without the wisdom perfections, they are look like blind group of blind people. Therefore, at the beginning, everybody must have a strong aspiration, motivation for realizing emptiness. In the past, in the Buddha lifetime, after Buddha lifetime, so many Mahayana practitioners, they sacrifice many things for receiving teaching of emptiness. If we compare with them, we are really, very fortunate very lucky to have the opportunity to study in teaching of emptiness in Tibetan language, English, Chinese, all kinds of language, we can study emptiness. As I said in the past, somehow we have to realize emptiness. All the emotional or mental problem we have, other being have, because everybody confused, have a lot of confusion about the truth nature of all the phenomena. When we have a confusion, when our mind is totally confused, the truth and reality, there is a very common to have, making, creating problem within yourself, with others. So we will recite a few verses from the 6th ground at the beginning. On directly facing, he abide in the mind of meditative equipoise and turns to the attributes of perfect Buddhahood. This Bodhisattva, who sees the truth of dependent origination, attains the true cessation by dwelling in wisdom. This is the why they name, direct facing or the manifest. Next, pressing to the dependent origination. Just as a single man with eyes can easily lead a group of blind men to their desirable destination, here too, intelligence leads the soulless virtues and guide them to the conquered states. So when we think, I wish I can guide those blind group of people to the desirable destination, which is good. We have this kind of motivation. In order to lead them to the desirable, destination, first we must have the eyes. Until today, we have a lot of motivations. Want to be Buddha, want to benefit all sentient beings, want to free from suffering. Still, we are blind person. Then everything we have, we are just thinking, I want to be Buddha. I want to free from suffering. I want to get rid of the root of the samsara. But we don't have the actual tools, actual weapon to destroy the root of the samsara, which is emptiness. One, we have the realization, which is realize emptiness, then all our motivation can start the journey where we wish to go. When we realize emptiness, we can cut the root of samsara, which is we always wish to cut. When we realize emptiness, with practicing with the bodhicitta, then also we can start our journey to Buddhahood. So until today, since we study Dharma, we ourselves realize somehow my negative thoughts is still very strong. What happened? Because we haven't realized emptiness. We must make sure, we must remember, in order to lead the blind people to their destination, their desirable destination, we must have eyes. But many of our friends, include me, we ourselves is very blind person. Still we try to lead them, try to show them the right path to reach to desirable destination. We cannot. Therefore, when we have free time, read the sentence of the verses about emptiness. You don't need to read whole text. Read few sentences and reflect deeply about the meaning of emptiness. Then one day definitely we can realize emptiness. In the Tibetan tradition, what we have a saying, understanding bodhicitta is very easy, but not easy to cultivate. Understanding emptiness is so difficult to understand. If you put effort, it's easy to understand. We think difficult, actually it is easy to realize. Generating bodhicitta, we think is very easy. I can generate bodhicitta. It's not easy at all. For example, morning, we generate bodhicitta. We had great compassion towards all sentient beings. After breakfast, when you meet, annoying person, very, disturbing person, then all compassion, bodhicitta, kindness, tolerance, everything has gone. Then we need to generate again in afternoon. Evening, it will be destroyed by the anger. So realizing emptiness, when you realize, is always there. The view is always there. It cannot be degenerated by other thoughts, other obstacles. Please remember the verses. One who has realized the utterly profound truth through the scripture and through the reasoning as well. Say, through the scripture, then reasoning. When first, we need to rely on the definite teaching. We cannot guess this must be truth, that must be truth. First, we need to rely on scriptures. Based on relying scripture, then we need to use the reasoning to know the actual meaning of emptiness. This analogy is very nice in Tibetan. The elderly people, they're walking by, support by walking stick, the walking stick. So in order to realize the emptiness, impermanence, bodhicitta, we need a scripture, we need our words to understand, to realize. But we should not only rely on the words. Next, we need to use the reasonings and logic. Therefore here, through scripture and through reasoning as well, was the noble Nagarjuna. So I will expound here his tradition as it appears in the treatise. Next, the right, the person to teach emptiness, the vessels. Even ordinary persons, when hearing about emptiness, share joy, search again and again with their heart. Tear born from such a joy fill their eyes. So this one we can see, those people who has experience of emptiness, experience of bodhicitta. So many occasions, so when we attend, teaching from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, when he speak about great compassion, all sentient being, the tears come from his eyes. Also, when he really explained the, teach us the emptiness, also you can see the expression is totally different. So we should not just verbally say, oh, great compassion, bodhicitta, emptiness. We need some kind of feeling. We need to feel suffering of sentient being. Then we can generate bodhicitta, great compassion. Also, we need to feel that ignorance is the main cause for all the terrible things in our life. Then we can have the strong aspiration to realize emptiness. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how long we study Dharma, how many times we attend Dharma class, we cannot feel I am changed. I am become better person, happier person, easier person, easy to practice forgiveness and patience. Because we don't really feel the cause to need the Dharma. And their hair stand up in the follicles. Such as people have the seeds of perfect Buddhahood. So when we listen, the teaching of about emptiness, suddenly you feel, wow, it's so, important to realize emptiness. Then you have a sense of happiness, sense of joyness for realizing emptiness. Therefore, you feel, a great happiness. Those people has the seeds. That means the person has the right potential to realize emptiness. Then the person can achieve Buddhahood. So the seeds of potential, the potentiality is look like the right, like a field, the right field. If the field, the ground is very dry, when you plant a healthy seeds, the seeds cannot produce any sprout. Likewise, when we try to realize emptiness, we think I want to realize emptiness, we wish to realize emptiness, but our mind is very dry. There's no, what you call the moisture. Our mind is very dry, not really moistened by love, great compassion, realizing the ignorance, the root. Therefore, when we listen teaching of emptiness, we don't feel anything. Such as people have the seeds of perfect Buddhahood. They are the perfect vessels for this teaching. Also, when you read yourself, also you can see, I am the perfect vessel for this teaching. Because when you read this sentence, when you feel, wow, it's so, you feel your mind is moved by the verses, you can say, I am the perfect vessel for this teaching. Also, you can read the different way. And my hair stand up in their follicles, such as I have the seeds of perfect Buddhahood. To them, you should teach the sublime ultimate truth. Then you can say, I am the perfect vessel. Then you can just, have a visualization, your guru, and ask the guru, teach the emptiness. So this is, is a very personal, recitation. So when you recite alone, then you can, twist it, you can change the sentence according to your own experience. For example, when His Holiness gave a teaching of emptiness, like the four or 8 points of emptiness. Then he said, he recited the verses based on his own name, using his known name. Next one, for them, the ensuing quality will come to birth. If you are the right vessel, if you have the potential, if you are the right person, then when you wish to realize emptiness, when you put effort, you no need to put a lot of effort because you already have the capacity, you have the seeds to realizing emptiness. Same, everybody try to practice bodhicitta, but bodhicitta haven't generated yet, haven't cultivated yet, because the great compassion is not there. The compassion we have is very biased compassion. So we really have to follow the practical way. Practical. We have to practice the Dharma step by step. When you walking up into the second or third floor, you have to walk by step. If you try to jump, instead of you reaching further, you're coming down. So it's so important to step by step. For them, the ensuing quality will come to birth, adopting perfect morality. They will always abide by it. They will practice generosity and cultivate compassion. They will practice forbearance and will dedicate thoroughly. In the Mahayan path, great compassion is very important. Very, very important. Remember, Vajrapani asked a question to Buddha. Buddha said, if you have an object in your hand, everything will come in your hand. Then the Vajrapani asked, what is the object in hand? Which the all object will come. Then Buddha said, this is the great compassion. When we have a great compassion, bodhicitta will come. When we have the bodhicitta, the realization will come. Then is particularly here mentioned, they will practice forbearance or patience. Remember in the Lamrim, so you have to practice love and compassion equally all sentient beings. If you neglect one sentient being, your compassion is not complete. Your, the great love is incomplete. Bodhicitta, incomplete. Therefore, why we usually neglect, very particular person, particular like animals, particular sentient beings. We ignore, someday we killed. Everything come, ignore the, killing because we don't have a compassion. We cannot practice love and compassion towards this particular person because we are very angry. We hate the person. In order to overcome from angry and sense of hating, we need to practice the forbearance. Now you can see the more important, great compassion, then practice the forbearance, are the look like hot horse of the Mahayan path. Then generosity. Practicing generosity not only refer to be generous, offering the material things. So if you have the perfect understanding of very particular dharma, you can explain to your friends, your family, Also, you are practicing generosity. Also, when you're walking on the roadside, sometimes you can see, some creature, some, insect is, on the roadside. It's the danger to, somebody kill. Also, you just, put the, the animal, the insect or creature, the side. That means you are saving life. Saving life. Also, when you, for example, when you see someone, lost somewhere, you can show them, path, direction. Also, you are practicing generosity. Generosity not necessarily, generous about offering the material things. Then the last sentence one, the virtues to free from all beings, freedom for all beings. The virtues or any kinds of action, positive actions, is only freedom for all beings. So if we have these four practices, great compassion, generosity, generous for anybody, particularly the annoying person, practicing patience, dedicating all action, freedom for all sentient beings, then you are, very good Mayan practitioner. These virtues to freedom for all beings. Then here what we need to remember, bodhicitta, emptiness are the paths to go to Buddhahood. Achieving Buddhahood is look like, you are having one important, like a weapon, one important methods to benefit all sentient beings. That's mean, what is the, man achievement for Mahayan practitioner? Freedom all sentient beings from suffering. Suffering. So in order to free all sentient beings suffering, you have to be Buddha. Then in order to be Buddha, then you need to practice bodhicitta and emptiness. In order to practice the pure, complete bodhicitta, then the four practice, great compassion, generosity, patience, then dedication. When all action, any positive action, we act only freedom for all sentient beings. You no need to worry your own benefits. You no need to worry, benefit for your family and relatives. You and your relatives already include in all sentient beings. Therefore, the virtues to freedom for all beings. Next one, in urging the right vessel to listen, to study the teaching of and teaching about emptiness. They will reverse those who aspire to perfect awakening, gaining mystery of ways profound as vast. Such a person will gradually attain the ground of perfect joy, the first bhumi. So all those who thus aspire, pray listen to this path. Now you can see the first, Chandrakirti explain or introduce us. Emptiness is very important, like having our eyes. The second, he very much explained what kind of condition you must have to study, to listen teaching of emptiness. Then third, he requests or urges, if you have this, the qualities, you must listen the teaching of emptiness, teaching about emptiness. Then gradually, you will attain the ground of perfect joy, the first bhumi. Until the first bhumi, so the practitioner, not certain he or she can achieve Buddhahood or not. When the practitioner, achieve the first bhumi, which is joy, perfect joy, since surely the person can be Buddha. The matter is only the time. It fast, slow, very fast. Definitely the person can achieve Buddhahood. So when we see this word, such a person will gradually attain the ground of perfect joy. Again, I said last week, we don't read this book as a history. For example, when we read history of India, history of Buddha Shakyamuni, his family, the palace, we just, thinking, oh, Buddha was born there, stayed, this year, he married, has a child, and what this. We just, it's nothing to do with our daily practice. This teaching, not you just think, oh, someone will achieve Buddhahood. Someone will practice bodhicitta. No, you must think, if I realize emptiness, gradually I will attain the ground of perfect joy. Then I can be Buddha. How I can realize emptiness? I need to check my capacity. If I don't have capacity, never mind, don't worry. Still, you can do, certain practice in order to become the perfect vessels. Particularly practice great compassion, generosity, dedicate act for freedom for all sentient beings. Always practice passion. Then one day you can have the conducive condition to realize emptiness. Then next one, not originating from Ipsa is actually enter into the emptiness. So surely we will go through the way higher quality issue if suggestion is expounded. Before this stanza, look at the second paragraph in the page number 164. The point here is that if one sees this physical sign emerge on the basis of two convergent facts, true kind of condition, that the person hears the discourses of emptiness. First, the person hear, the person listen the teaching of emptiness, discourses on emptiness, listen, he understand what is being heard. Not just listen, the person can understand what does mean emptiness. If the person has, have the sign indication having these two conditions, that the person is the right vessels. Then such a sign indicate unmistakably that the person is stable vessel. Right? Here the discourse on emptiness. Then when you reflect the verses on the verses, then the person can understand. Then automatically the person can have the sense of joyness. In contrast, the opposite, if the person does not understand the meaning, or even if he does, if the sign do not arise, one cannot determine for the time being that he is a stable vessel for the performed truth. So that means the teacher, carefully observing this person is, the stable or not. For example, when we attend, initiation, there's a few procedure. First, the guru need to check the place for initiation. Then the gurus, create the mandala. Then when the disciple come to attend the initiation, the first day is the preparation. Then usually, the guru said, okay, tonight you check your dream. Right? The gurus provide the kushagras and the protection string. Then actually the teacher was checking is okay, the person is stable or not. Same thing, actually when the master teach emptiness or Mahamudra or like a Dzogchen, they have to check. But somebody understand the emptiness, the person doesn't have very particular feeling, mean still the person can understand, but he's not stable to teach emptiness because no point. No point. For example, some of students, they are very intelligent. He or she is very intelligent. He or she can understand emptiness. He or she can understand bodhicitta, but he or she is not interested at all to practicing bodhicitta, practicing wisdom, and not interested at all. Then there's no point to teach Dharma. No point. Same, all of you can really, spend many years. Some of you spend with me almost 8 years. How many, courses we have done, like a tenets, a collective topic, Great Lamrim, Will of Dharma, the Rasiling Sutara, Dependent Origination, 12 Link, 4 Noble Truth, all the teaching we discuss. But look like many of you who just attend lesson, they are no serious, they are not really interested in practicing. Then there's no point you to study. There's no point. I explain, I teach Dharma. No point. Therefore, please, I said many times, most of us over 40, 50, close to 60. We have only, if we, being, able to live healthy life, we have only 20 to 30 years, the most 30 years. The next 20 years is a very crucial, very important. Within the next 20 years, if we able to cultivate bodhicitta, realizing emptiness, that means our journey is began to Buddhahood. Within the next 20 years, we could not be able to generate bodhicitta, realizing emptiness, no renunciation, meant our journey to the lower realms, our journey is already start continues in samsara. Therefore, next 20 years are very, very important for us. Don't just study, practice. Practice. Therefore, it's mentioned here, right? Vessel for the performed truth. Even so, if the adherers to the dedicate for the sublime teachers, such as person may in the future become a stable vessel to deposit numerous new potency for realizing emptiness. So, what should we do? So when we reflect ourselves, we know, who we are. We know our capacity. This time, if you think, oh, I don't think, I understand the emptiness, don't give up. Put effort. You recite, this entering middle way, maybe every day, like 3 pages, 4 pages. You read the Mule Madhyamaka Karika. You read Heart Sutara once a day. Wish to realize emptiness and Heart Sutara. And you do prostration. You do, the long or short prostration only for realizing emptiness. And one day, definitely, you can feel, oh, my intelligence is, become better. I can have a better understanding. Because in one hand, you are accumulating merit. In other hand, you are purifying negative karma. That means you are taught to collecting the right condition to realize emptiness. It's mentioned here, right? Dedicate for the sublime teacher. Such a person may in the future become the stable vessel to deposit numerous new potencies for realizing emptiness. Now the quality. Teacher teaching emptiness to the vessel described above all will not be fruitless. If you are the right vessel, when you study emptiness, you will have the fruits of studying emptiness. Not only will such as listener not be saddled with the injurious consequence of distorted apprehension of emptiness. So if you are the right person, then you won't have the distorted view of emptiness. So distorted view is make sure when we think about emptiness, I said, like two side. One coin has a two side. When you reflect on emptiness, then you must have a feeling, oh, surely all the conventional phenomena can establish within the emptiness. Right? So when you reflect on the dependent origination, then you need to think, oh, I don't think any phenomena exists inherently. That means within the emptiness, you need to evolve to establish everything. Everything means you have a good understanding of emptiness. Within the emptiness, thing can exist, thing can function. If thing exists inherently, there's no really functional thing there. So make sure when you reflect on emptiness, you must have a right understanding. Therefore, it's mentioned here very clearly. Emptiness. For them, the ensuing quality that result from the listening to the view emptiness will come to birth. How do this come about? The stable vessel will relate it to hearing the view of emptiness like finding a treasure. So that this view does not degenerate on other life, adopting perfect morality. Now you can see the order. When we think about emptiness, when you study emptiness, you need to feel, oh, today I found a most important treasure. For example, when you're walking in the forest, you are just walking in the forest, suddenly you discover, the treasure of like a diamond, black gold. Treasure, how do you feel? You feel so happy, you feel so joy. Then second, what do you think? I really need to protect carefully. Otherwise, other people will come and steal them. Right? First, you need to feel I found or treasure of, on teaching on emptiness. Then you think, oh, I must practice emptiness, then I can achieve Buddhahood. Then what happened next life? Okay, this life, I have a time to study on emptiness. I have a time to read all the teaching on emptiness. Then what happened next life if you're born into lower realms? Then you get, starting, getting worried. Oh, then I don't want to born in lower realms. Therefore, I need to practice the morality. Adopting perfect morality, then will always abide by it. Not adopting, will always abide by it. I said last time, right? You take the vows. So all of you already has taken the vows. Second, abide to always abide by it. The lower realm, they will do so by reflecting. What reflecting? If due to moral degenerate, I were to fall into the lower realms, the continue of view of emptiness will be broken. That, oh, what happened? If I don't practice Partimoksha, one of the Partimoksha vow of morality, the morality, if I born in lower realm, then I won't have a, the opportunity to continuously practice emptiness. Then suddenly I must practice the moral, perfectly. Then I will fall into lower realm. The continue of view of emptiness will be broken. Thus, they will adopt the moral discipline and guard it without degenerate. Becoming morally degenerate do not require first adopting a moral code. This, I think, is a very new for you. Thus, they will adopt moral discipline and guard it without degeneration. Becoming morally degenerate do not require first adopting moral code. Even committing those acts, they are naturally reprehensible, repressible, which are the contrary to which virtues constitute the moral degenerate. For example, you think, oh, when we killed, any living being, you thought, I break the moral because I didn't adopt the morality. But Lama Tsongkhapa was saying, whether you are already adopt the morality or not, when you killed, when you lie, when you steal, you are morality is degenerating. Mean your action is opposite against the virtues. Therefore, degenerate your morality. They will further reflect in order to practice the patience. They will further reflect, even if because of absorbing morality, I am born in the higher realms, I may become poor and benefit for the condition or sustain, such as food, drink, medicine, and clothes, and devoted to the seeking this. Then reflect again, okay, I practice morality perfectly, I can be born in human, higher realms. If I become very poor in the future, what happened? If you are very poor, then you almost every day you have to be busy to have the facility like food, clothes, drink, medicine, house, so many things. Then we won't have the opportunity continuously practice emptiness. Therefore, oh, I must practice generosity. Generosity. Then next life I can be a, born in the higher realms, doesn't matter human or deva. I can have all the excellent condition. Number 2. Number 3, then, oh, I can be human. I can have all the necessary condition. If I'm very ugly, then what happened? Therefore, they will practice by great compassion, they will lead to Buddhahood and not otherwise. Reflecting it is view of emptiness sustained by great compassion, they will lead to Buddhahood and not otherwise. They will cultivate the habits of great compassion, which is the root. Reflecting through the anger or goes to the lower realm, destroy one virtues and acquires the extensively unpeeling contents. And because of this, the Arya will not be pleased. They will practice forbearance. Oh, then I can be human. I can have all the facility. If they don't practice compassion, I cannot be Buddha. I have to practice compassion. Yes, I have a right human, good the fortunate realms. I will have all the condition. I can practice compassion. If I'm very, ugly, he mentioned the reflect the extremely unpeeling contents. Look very ugly. What happened? Then the Arya, the teacher won't please your features. Then you somehow think, how come then the Arha are very compassionate? They have a bodhicitta, how they can, not happy with the ugly faces. That means the person has a very ugly, unpeeling contents. Because in the previous life, the person have the strong anger. The anger produces a lot of negative consequences. Therefore, the person won't have opportunity to receive teaching from the Arhat. Okay. Then the next page number 168, 169. These are the the beneficial of meditating on emptiness, reflect on emptiness, studying on emptiness. I will read the last stanza from the 169. No, last the second quotation from the Sutra. The Ajat Sutra. This is what Sanskrit. The Ajat Shatru. In the Buddha lifetime, there's a king named Bimbisara. King Bimbisara. So when we visit the Vulture Peak on the way, we saw, I think most of you have seen the place of the present. The Bimbisara was followed after Buddha Shakyamuni. Before he was Hindu, then he converted as a Buddhist. He followed Buddha. Then the rest of the other Hindu like gurus, they don't like the king because the king converted into Buddhist. So he respect Buddha Shakyamuni. He didn't respect to the Hindu master. They are not happy. Then they asked, the son of the king, Ajat Shatru name. He said, you must kill your father, then you can have the power of the king. Right? Then he thought he going to kill his father. The one day he captured the father, put in prison. And the father was very compassionate. He had a very strong devotion to Buddha. He said, it's okay, you can put me in prison. But I have one condition. The prison you must build where I can see the Buddha. Therefore, they built the prison, very close to the vulture peak, because Buddha was traveling from, Rajgir and vulture peak around this area. Then someday he can see Buddha was walking. That's what he built, put in prison. Then finally, he killed his father. But there's a two different story. One, they say actually he killed his father. Other stories mention, finally he had a strong regret putting his father in prison. Then he and some soldier went to the prison to release him. And the father thought, now my son with the soldier coming to kill me, the father commits suicide. No, sure. Somehow the Sudara mentioned he killed his father. Therefore, here, if someone who has committed heinous act hears this teaching and engage with it and aspire for it. I do not speak of his karmic deeds as the karmic operation. The Ajashuta, he killed his father. Then Buddha give example, even though somebody commit, serious crime like killing father, if the person reflect or studying, hearing emptiness, then the karmic deeds is not, karmic operation. All the, serious, karma can be purified. Even though if you have a doubt of emptiness, you can accumulate a lot of merits. So, as a homework, please everybody read the page number 167, 68, and 69. Then you will have a strong kind of, aspiration to studying emptiness. Right? Okay, next, identifying the object of negation. Now, remember, first, the priest to the dependent origination, then the vessels, then the urging to listen to emptiness. Now it's come to about the actual emptiness. The way the suggestness of dependent origination is expounded. This has 3 sections. How this is presented in the perfect scripture. That means how the emptiness actually, taught in the scriptures. Then number 2, how the meaning of scripture is established by reason. Again, we need to we have to read the sutras or scripture. After reading, then we need to establish emptiness based on the reasoning and logic. We should not say it's true because Buddha says so, Nagarjuna says so. Then the third one, enumeration of emptiness, meaning branches of emptiness. Establish the conclusion. Let me remember 3. How this is presented in the perfect scriptures, even though in Hasutra, one of the scripture, how the meaning of scripture is established by reason, and enumeration of emptiness. Then within the first, it has 2 parts. The first has 2 parts. Suggestion station showing how it was taught in the scripture and identifying the force opposing the understanding of suggestness. The first one, station showing how it was taught in the scripture. Here, the 10 grown sutara, it started. So there are so many, scripture which taught the emptiness. Here, Chandrakirti, he mainly, focused on the 10 Bhumis scriptures. 10 Bhumi scripture. Now, particularly, he, stays on the 6 ground sutra. 10 ground sutra is started. When the Bodhisattva on the 5th ground enters the 6th ground, he does so by the means of the 10 perfect equanimities with respect to phenomena. Right? So when the Bodhisattva who are about on the 5th ground, then slowly, you can say promote. Simply say promote. Enter into 6th ground. So by means of the 10 perfect equanimity with the respect to the phenomena. That means based on the phenomena, then the Bodhisattva realized that 10 equanimity, 10 equanimities. Within one phenomena can have all the 10 equanimities. Then without looking your book, can you remember what are the 10? I ask you to memorize what are the 10. Okay, so we will go through the 10s. They are, number 1, the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of sign. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of sign. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of defining characteristic. Likewise, we have to repeat same way. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of birth. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in beginning unborn, in their beginning unborn. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in being evoked. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their primordial purity. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their freedom from the elaboration. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in the perfect equanimity and the absence of affirmation and rejection. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their resemblance to the illusion, then to dream, to mirage, to echoes, to reflection on the moon in the water, to mirror image, and so, and true conjunction. Then 10, the perfect equanimity of the all phenomena in their absence of the duality of real and unreal. These are the 10. So now we go one by one. It's not easy to understand. When he realized, the Bodhisattva who about on the 6th ground, he realized the nature of all phenomena in such a term because of his shape and opposite. Also, is come from the commentary by Chandrakirti. Because of the shape and the opposite forbearance, he will attain the 6th ground, namely the manifest. Likewise, indicate that the phrase, these are actually come from the commentary by Chandrakirti. Now we just jump to the second paragraph. On the 10 perfect equanimity, within the 10, the first is that all phenomena are equal insofar as all these appearance of diverse signs do not exist from the perspective of the arhat meditative equipoise. All phenomena are equal insofar as all the appearance of the diverse signs do not exist. This one, what we need a simple need to think. Simple, we think, when we look at all phenomena, it has a different sign, different shape, different color, different size, different function. Each of the phenomena has a very uniqueness. For example, human and non-human, white and black, yellow and red. We can see it's a different sign, different kind of uniqueness is there. When you meditate on emptiness, your mind fully meditate on emptiness. Your mind fully absorb the emptiness. Within the emptiness level, within the emptiness, there's no such as lot of varieties. All phenomena has a same nature. Same nature, there's no different sign. Therefore, he's saying here, does not exist from the perspective of the Arya's meditative equipoise. That means the first, the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of the sign. I mean, there's no any sign. All the sign is totally absent within the Arhat's meditation, meditative absorption. So here, how we, how should we understand how? Simply, let's say we have a man and woman, old and young, older and younger. There's such a different, old and young and very young and a baby, such a different, the kind of features. When we think from the perspective of like impermanence of the boy, impermanence of the girls, impermanence of the old, young, male and female, everybody has the same nature, which is impermanence. When we're looking from the impermanent perspective, we cannot see the differences. When we're looking from the perspective of the like physical, outlooking, then we can see difference. So this is the point. When you meditate on emptiness, then all the negative thoughts are going to be very calm. Calm. How and why? When we see, when we have a thoughts, perception, this object is beautiful, attachment arises. This object is very ugly, anger or hatred arises. This object is very expensive, then we have an attachment arise. When we don't have a perception, ugly and beauty, expensive or cheap, good or bad, male and female, then there's no any basis to arise negative thoughts. Therefore, when we meditate on emptiness, that means totally there's no any basis, because everything totally absence within the meditative equipoise. Therefore, I hope you can understand the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of sign. The second is the equanimity of all phenomena insofar as they are all devoid of existence by virtues of their intrinsic characteristic. Because when the first is mentioned, the perfect equanimity of all phenomena, their absence of defining character. Defining is not definition, it's nothing to do with the definition and defining. Means their nature. Defining characteristic. What does mean is clearly explained by Lama Tsongkhapa here. The second is equanimity of all phenomena insofar as they are all, any kind of phenomena, they are all devoid, existent by virtue of their intrinsic characteristics. They don't have an intrinsic defining. They're all phenomena equanimity of all phenomena insofar they are all devoid of existence by virtues of their intrinsic characteristic. That means all phenomena totally equal, not exist, not established as an intrinsic existence. Again, in big or small and young and old and expensive, whatsoever, all phenomena has a equal nature, which all phenomena is empty of absence of intrinsic characteristic. This truth represent as a general presentation among the 10. First, you need to remember first truth, which is the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of sign. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of defining characteristic. The truth is a general presentation. The rest of the 8 is more detailed explanation about the first truth. This truth represents as a general presentation. The remaining 8 presents particular variation of the very truth explained in the general. For instance, the absence of birth is from the perspective of future, and unborn is from that of other temporal standpoint. Now you need to read the third one. The perfect equanimity of all phenomena in their absence of birth. Then the 4, the perfect equanimity of all phenomena in the being unborn. What does mean in the absence of birth? In being unborn, what does mean? Does mean all phenomena arise there, but there never be in the future, there never be intrinsic existence. You should not think, when we analyze now, we knew nothing exists intrinsically. All phenomena, the nature is empty of intrinsic characteristic when we study now. Then maybe somebody thought, oh, this time there's no such as intrinsic existence. Maybe in the future there will be. They said, no. Therefore, it's a here unborn. Absence of birth means the intrinsic characteristic never exists in the future. therefore absence of birth. Then future and unborn is so far of another temporal standpoint. Maybe again, in the present moment, not existent, intrinsically existent phenomena, maybe the future time, maybe in the past time they will exist, in the future time they will exist. Then also say no, nowhere, anytime. So for another temporal standpoint, that all phenomena are economos or equal must be understood in the context of other remaining statement as well. So these are the tense, right? So now we go the identifying the force of the opposing understanding of suchness. So please remember all the 10 equanimity, identifying the force opposing the understanding of suchness. In starting forth all phenomena as devoid of true existence, devoid of empty of true existence. If one does not understand well what constitutes true existence, that means what's the actual meaning of true existence? Number two, what constitutes grasping at the true existence? One view of emptiness will certainly goes astray. So in order to realize emptiness, first we need to know exactly what does mean, intrinsic existence. Understand well what constitutes the true existence. What does mean actually, true existence, intrinsic existence. Number two, what constitutes grasping at true existence? What does mean grasping at true existence? That means we need to know the negation, which is we need to negate. Number two, we need to recognize the innate ignorance which is grasps at the true existence. Therefore, we need to realize the true importance. Number one, we need to know exactly the meaning of true existence, intrinsically existent. We need to know. Number two, we need to know the ignorance, which is grasped on the true existence. For example, when we say, Mr. A is absent class, today class, he or she absents. When we say he absent in class, exactly we need to recognize unmistakably Mr. A. Otherwise, actually Mr. A is there, you are saying Mr. A is absent because you don't have the clear understanding, clear knowledge about Mr. A. Also, we say, Mr. A has done something wrong. But if we say he or she did something wrong, we need to know what kind of action he was act. So, in order to recognize actual ignorance, we need to know ignorance grabs the true existence. Therefore, we need to recognize the innate ignorance, the actual root of the rest of the afflictions, the actual root of the suffering and samsara, as an actual in the innate. Then there's a quotation from the Guide to Buddhist Way states, without touching upon the imputed entity, true existence, intrinsically existent are same. Without touching upon the imported entity, the absence of its reality cannot be grasped. So everybody memorize this true line. Thus, if the imported entity, namely the generic concept of what is to be negated, that means before you negate the negation, you must have the picture, the image, the imagery in your mind. Oh, this is actually negation. Then you need to negate the negation on all phenomena. All phenomena. Right? The what's the generic concept? I mean, when you read the books, the line, so you are reading. After reading, you have the some thoughts. The thoughts has the image of the negation. Therefore, therefore there was generic concept of what is to be negated. Does not appear clearly to one's mind. It is said that one will not be able to pinpoint the absence of the object of negation. Right? For example, usually I use the analogy. For example, I ask one of you to go to airport to pick up, Mr. B. I ask you to go to airport, pick up Mr. B. So before you go to the airport, you must have a clear picture of Mr. A in your mind. Then when you are actually in the airport, then you are watching Mr. A is coming or not coming. Then finally, he didn't arrive. Then you can say Mr. A didn't come. But if you don't have a clear picture of Mr. A, he or she arrived, she left the airport, but you didn't recognize because you don't have the clear picture. Therefore, when we say, for example, this book is empty of inherent existence, we need to know the intrinsically existent book, the true existent book. Then we can negate the true existent book based on this book. So I'm a bit slow because make sure all of you, can digest a little bit. Therefore, if a clear sense of what is the opposite to existence, that which is said not to exist, as well as what phenomena are understood to be empty of the object of negation, does not arise in one's mind, it would be impossible to ascertain clearly on the nature of absence of true existence as well as the nature of emptiness. It is not enough to have identified the true existence as postulated by the proponent of the philosophical tenets or their correspondingly apprehension of the true existence. Therefore, the ignorance which we need to recognize must be the innate one. The negation which we need to understand must be the actual negation, not the negation which is inputted, pursued by the tenets. Okay, so we can stop here our class because it's quite heavy for this topic. So last time I think somebody asked question. If you remember the question, we can discuss. If anybody has a new question, please feel free. I know the topic, that is very difficult. Please be patient, and read slowly until you memorize, remember the line perfectly. Don't miss any kind of small part of the sentence. Read few times, then reflect on what does mean. So this part is very important. If we confuse at the beginning, then no point, we talk about emptiness or 4 point, 3 point, all the chariot, whatever, no point. Okay, any question?
Not for now. Maybe they need a little bit more time to think about
I
their
saw
question.
the two Chinese.
The question they were asking about the text.
Okay.
Yeah.
So text is available in TBC. Anybody can come. We have the text. This text is very good. We have English, Chinese, and Tibetan. Chinese, we have a traditional one and the simplified Chinese. Yeah, anybody can come and TBC, or if you are very busy, you can ask the office to post you.
Yeah. Usually I have a questions that are coming in already.
Okay.
So the question is a kalpa long connection with the guru needed? Is the kalpa long connection with the guru needed before enlightenment?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Is the kalpa long connection with the guru needed before enlightenment? So do you need a kalpa long of connections before you can achieve enlightenment?
Kalpa long, what does it mean?
One kalpa is like many years.
Oh, you are to Sanskrit, the kalpa.
Yeah.
Kalpa, yeah. So what is the question? Can you repeat again?
Is a kalpa long connection with the guru needed before enlightenment?
I'm not so clear the question. So I said, in the Mahayana, particularly in the Vajrayana teaching, the guru considered is a very, very, very important. Because so many practices, we don't understand when we read the books, texts, sutta, all the scriptures. Then we need to rely on our guru. Particularly when you study Tantrayana, like this kind of book. In the higher Tantrayana, sometimes just one single line has 8 different meanings. Therefore, we need a guru to explain everything very precisely, the meaning. Number one. Number two, right now, let's say I don't want to have a guru, I want to receive teaching from Buddha. If you can, which is very good, right now, we don't have the opportunity. We are not the opportunity person to receive teaching from Buddha. Therefore, we need a guru definitely. We need the guru until we become Buddha. Here, I will give you, very simple kind of explanation. Let's say the person only practice the Sutra Mahayana. Mahayana has 2 Sutra Mahayana, Vajra Mahayana. The Mahayana practitioner only practice Bodhicitta 6 perfection, based on the Sutra Mahayana. Then the person can go all the way to the 10 Bhumi without practicing Vajrayana, without practicing the higher Tantrayana. The person can goes all the way to 10 Bhumi. 10, the next is Buddhahood, right? Even though he reached to the 10 Bhumi, at the 10th Bhumi, he or she need to rely on a guru to receive very particular teaching, how to stop the appearance of the duality. Therefore, yes, if you're asking, do we need guru until become Buddha? Definitely we need. Yeah. But the guru doesn't have to have a connection for mini kalpa. You can have a connection with the guru, maybe last 5 years or 10 years or 2 years. 100 years, it doesn't matter how long you have connection. At least you have a connection with the Guru is enough. Okay, next question. No question, right?
Yeah.
Okay, no question. Then so now we can do the dedication. So today we do dedication based on the entering middle way. It's a very just one stanza, but that meaning is very important. From the last sentence from the entering middle way. Yes, Sonam? Okay, thank you so much for attending the class. Some of you thinking, how come usually supposed to go to the 5, but there's no point to just talk. So you need to digest, and it's the first few classes we go very slowly. Make sure you understood. You have the kind of solid understanding. Then next, the 4 point, 5 point, these are quite easy to understand because you already know from the beginning. So I said many times it's not easy to understand. Please don't give up. If you don't give up, it's good for you. If you give up, it's bad for you. It's not saying, oh, it can benefit for me. So please, continuously read the books, reflect on the meaning, and try to understand. If you don't understand, please keep a note and feel free to ask me a question. I will answer if I can. If I cannot, still you keep the answer question that you can ask other master. Okay, thank you so much. Have a happy Saturday. Thank you.